Hey Mr. Rogue Mustangs, welcome back to the kitchen lab. Today we're going to do a little something with speed and motion and velocity. So we're going to just do design and motion, and I think that you should have most of these things around the house. So I'm hoping that you have most of these things around the house. So I'm going to show you guys some of the things I have, because you can just use just about anything. So we're going to try to build ourselves a car. Actually 2 cars, because you're going to need to make 2 so that you can test out your experiment. So let's see, you're going to need straws if you have them. If you have coffee stirrers, you can use those. You can use some lifesavers. We're going to use those for wheels. If you don't have lifesavers, you can use bottle caps or water caps, and you can have a parent or someone help you maybe drill a little hole in your bottle cap. Okay? Get help from your parents if you need to do that. Remember, always get help from your parents when you're using tools. You're going to need a measuring tape or yardstick, whatever you have. You're going to need a timer, and you can use that. Maybe you can borrow your parents' phone, ask them to time the race for you between the 2 vehicles. You can use your, I used a juice cup, a juice box. You can use a juice box. You can use some cardboard. You can use bottles. Here's a bottle that I used, and I'll show you how I did that. You can also use even toilet paper rolls. I'm sure we have a lot of them around the house. You can use one of these, and what I did with mine is I colored it just to make it a little cuter, make it look like a car. So I'll show you guys how we're going to put that together. If you have Play-Doh, you can use Play-Doh. If your parents have a glue gun and you are allowed to use it with supervision, or maybe they can help you use it, then use that. You can use balloons. You can use, that balloon had water in it. You can use rubber bands, okay? So just about anything that you can find around the house. I want you to think about your design as an engineer, and think about becoming or being as creative as you can with this project. Okay, so we're talking about motion and the forces of motion, and a little background on that is Sir Isaac Newton was an English philosopher, engineer. He developed physics and calculus. He just did just about everything. He was a very smart, very interesting person. And we use his laws of motion today. We talk about them and use them all the time. And his first law was that an object that's at rest tends to stay at rest until something happens to it. So, for example, I can stand here and I'll stand still for forever unless somebody comes and maybe pushes me, or I move forward or backwards. So that's what that tells you. He had 3 laws. The second law was acceleration of an object produces a total amount of force that will be related to the mass. So that all that's saying basically is that if something's heavy, it may or may not take more force to move it. Okay, and then the third one was every action has an equal and opposite reaction. So, and that just has to do with gravity. Because if I think about something, for example, if I have this toilet paper roll and I put it on the table, think about gravity not only pushing it from above, but also from below. And we've talked about that, that pressure of gravity on both sides. So that's going to affect how an object moves. I'm sure that you've read about the 3 laws of Sir Isaac Newton, or your teachers have talked about them with you already. But look over them, because that'll help you kind of work towards this project. So we're going to think about motion and speed and the force of gravity, and also velocity. So velocity is kind of like, it's this, velocity is the speed with direction and magnitude, how far something can go. So speed is like the quantity that we can measure by maybe with our measuring tape, and we can measure by feet per second. When we measure with a timer and a measuring tape, we can figure out the speed of something, okay? So think about all those words, look them up if you need to, in order to explain how this project and experiment works. Okay, so let's get started. Here's what I did, and you can do it too. So I started with just cardboard. So I found a little piece of cardboard, and then what I did is I found just a circle or a quarter or whatever, and I drew a circle on one side, like that. So I just took my pencil, drew a circle, and then on the other side I drew 2 circles. And they were, I used a ruler, and that you can put maybe an inch or an inch and a half apart, just measure so that they're like mostly even with each other. And then what I did is I cut them with my scissors, and my cardboard ended up looking like this. I colored it so that it would look kind of fancy. So 2 circles, you see that I cut out, and then 1 on the top. So that's one way of creating like the body of my car, okay? And then you don't have to do that if you don't have to be super fancy like that. I did this one with just leaving the cardboard just nice and flat. I made it smaller. I don't know if, can you see that? Okay. And of course you can also use the juice box. I'm sure we have many of those. And let's see, what else can you use? And of course, our toilet paper roll. If you have bottles and you're allowed to cut into them, or maybe your dad wants to help you out, or your mom, and you want to make it really fancy, you can take a bottle and experiment with that bottle and then create something different, okay? So you have to use your imagination. This is your design, so you can just go to town, you know, figure out how you want your cars to look. So I want to make my 2 cars, super simple. So once I have my cardboard cut out, just like this, I'm going to take a straw, and I'm going to attach one to the back. But before I do that, I'm going to take a lifesaver, put it inside between my straw, and then I'm just going to turn my car over with the fancy colored side down. And I'm going to go ahead, right where I cut the very first circle or hole, see that? I'm going to go ahead and tape my straw. And I want to tape it really close to the edge. So I'm going to do that. Here's my tape. So I'm going to tape it on both sides. Make sure that the tape really holds that straw nice and still. I'll show you the back of it so you can see. Alright, so there's one wheel, the axle, right? Because it needs an axle to travel and go. And on the back, I'm going to go ahead and use my straw, and I'm going to put 2 wheels. So I'm going to go ahead and put one, and then the other on the other side. Remember, we want to tape them towards the edge. We don't want the wheels to touch our car, just be on the axle. I don't know, can you see that from the back and from the front? Okay. So I'm going to tape those, making sure I'm on the edge. It's always easy to do the second one. The first one's always a little bit of work. Don't want to tape the actual wheel, just a straw to your car. So this is one of my designs. So I'm going to try this design. I think that's kind of cool. There it is. Do you see it moving? Here, I'll go ahead and back up it up a little bit. That's a pretty good design already. But I'm going to go ahead and trim my straw because I don't need it anymore, and it doesn't need to be that long. Maybe it'll help it and be more aerodynamic. Okay. That feels pretty good. It's actually really, really good. And then my second one will be that little square one. And on this one, if you're doing the square one, you're going to need to use maybe a rubber band on the outside of that lifesaver to make sure that it holds and stays in place. And then you're also going to trim those as well. I use rubber bands. You could use a little bit of hot glue on the edge, but you cannot attach it to the wheels, so that's why rubber bands are better, just easier to use. So there's that car. Now, there's two of my cars, and I'm going to use, one is going to have a sail. So I'm going to put a sail on one of them. And the way I could do that is I could use a straw, let's see, a straw like this, and then I used a hole punch. Can you see that? A hole punch, I punched a little hole, and I'm going to go ahead and put the straw through there, and then on the back, I'm going to take my scissors and split the straw. Like this. So I ended up with two little pieces, two sides of the straw that I could split and I can attach to the cardboard. Okay, that's good. So I'm going to attach those to the cardboard with tape. That's super easy. So this is the easiest ones. You should be able to have all of those things. Now you could have used, I could have used caps. So there it is. I have a car now with a straw that I can attach a sail. So I'm going to take some paper. I'm going to cut a triangle. And you can use any paper. I have a piece of paper here, and just go ahead and just decide how big you want your sail to be. It can be just about any size. You decide how aerodynamic something's going to be. So I'm going to fold my triangle, but don't bend it too much. Just give it a fold. And then I'm going to go ahead and attach that to the back of my straw with tape. And there it is. A car with a little sail that I can blow on and have it move just with my breath. Okay. I think I like that. Okay, for this one though, I don't want to, maybe I want to apply a sail in a different way. So maybe I want to cut a piece, maybe even smaller. Maybe something like that. Or even thinner, maybe. Maybe taller. You have to decide what design you think will work best. Then I'm going to fold, just make a fold on the bottom like this. So I have it, and then I'm going to fold the bottom. Just make a fold like that. And then on the fold itself, I'm going to cut. Just make maybe 4 or 5 incisions that go up to the line, but not beyond the line that you folded. Can you see that they look like little teeth? Okay, so those are going to help me bend it and turn it. And I'm going to go ahead and just tape that. Instead of having a straw on this one, I'm going to go ahead and bend, turn it, and then tape it. So those little teeth will allow you to turn it and bend it. You see that? It'll kind of create a little cone at the bottom. And I'm just going to go ahead and attach it to my car, the top of my beautiful car, car number 8. You should have numbered the other one too. You can number and make your cars really fancy. There we go. So there's that car. So there's my car. There's this one with 3 wheels. This one has 4. Okay, so that's my different variable, right? And then if you don't have cardboard, but you have a juice box, what I did with this one is I went ahead and grabbed my straw, and let me show you guys. I have a spaghetti box right here. So you can color, here's a box of pasta, and you can color your box of pasta And then you want to take your straws, and you want to attach your straws to the back. Let me get some straws from the straw box. So you want to attach to the undercarriage of your vehicle. That's going to be your axle. So you want to attach those. And then once you do that, you can put the wheels on the end. Okay? In this case, what I did was I went ahead and attached not only the straw, but I also used, I'm going to show you what I did. Take one off. There's the straw, but I took a coffee stirrer and then I put it inside the straw. And then the wheel, I took, let me show you what I did. I drilled a hole on my cap, and I took some Play-Doh, a little bit of Play-Doh, and then I just filled it up. I covered the entire inside of the cap with Play-Doh. I took all the excess off, so it looked just like that, nice and fat and full of Play-Doh. And then I went ahead and just stuck it like that on the coffee stirrer, and that acts as a wheel. So you can do that with your caps, and as it dries, it'll really work well with your car. Okay, so there's my car. So it almost looks like a monster truck. You know, it looks like really big on the top. So that's what I did with this one. And since I want to test a different variable for both cars, I don't want to just do a sale car and another sale car. I could, because the sales are attached differently, so that could be a different variable for those. But what I wanted to do for this one is I saved the straw that came with the juice box. And then I took a balloon, and you'll see it's a recycled balloon, and I attached it to the end of the straw. The straw is bendy, so I attached it to the bendy side. The side that I stick into the juice box is the side that I'm going to blow into. So what I did is I took a balloon. All right, so let's try it with this one. Okay, so 8 times around the balloon, and then you can blow into it. And then you want to listen. Make sure that you don't hear any air escaping, except from the end of the straw. And I'm going to go ahead and attach it to the very top of the balloon. Okay, I could use hot glue, but in this case, I really don't need to. I can use tape. And the way I'm going to attach it is I'm going to turn it to the side so you can see. Can you see this? I'm going to attach it sideways so that so that the bendy side is lifted to the top. So, and then I'm going to make sure that it's on the edge so that I can have plenty of space so I can blow on it without hitting the box, the juice box. So it's facing up. I'm going to take 2 pieces of tape and attach those. Okay, so now they can blow into it. I'm going to hold it, then release it, and see how far it'll travel, okay? So, I don't know how effective this design will be compared to this design, compared to our 3-wheel sail design, or compared to something like this, which is a bottle, and then I attached the straws with hot glue to the bottle. I attached, and then I put a skewer. This one has a skewer. Let me take it apart so you can see. I used a little skewer and the cap that I made a little hole. See, it has a little hole. And then I put the skewer into the straw and attach my wheel on the other side through the little hole. Oops. And then for this one, I had a really big straw, and so I attached that to it. You can really hear the air. So this one might travel further. I don't know. Ooh, It wanted to take off. Let's see. If I can hold it. There it goes. So this one may travel further. So it's up to you. I just attached it on the very top. I made a little hole where I could put the straw through, but you can attach it on the top with hot glue, or you can even cut into it with a little help from your parents, of course, and maybe put the straw or the balloon in here, maybe cut into the back to put the straw through. You have to decide on your design. And so once you have your design, you're ready to go. So your challenge is to go ahead and use 2 of your creations. And you're going to go ahead and maybe invite a sibling, a parent to help you out. You're going to use your timer on a phone, or if you have a timer, it's even better. And you're also going to go ahead and set a piece of tape where you begin your race. So everybody begins at the same spot. And when they finish, you're going to go ahead and leave the car where it's at and measure the distance. So that's the challenge, to measure the distance. So while you're thinking about that and measuring the distance of all of those things, of all of your creations, maybe one with a balloon in it, maybe one that's a juice box, and maybe has wheels and is higher up, maybe one that's lower and has a sail, maybe one that's smaller and has a sail. You decide what you want to do, however you want to make it, and then you have to test it. And you have to test the different variables, controlled variables. Just do it however you think you could get an amazing result. So we'll see. I look forward to seeing your creations. I'm sure your teachers will as well. So when you're doing this project, think about motion, force, the push and pull, gravity. Does gravity have anything to do with it? Maybe being higher is not such a good idea. Speed. How fast did your creation travel? Your car travel? The velocity of it. Was it, super quick? Measure how far it went. So have fun with it. Enjoy it. I look forward to seeing all the stuff that you make. Thank you, boys and girls, for joining me in the Kitchen Lab. Have a great day.